This is the Netflix 1 month overview reading for the month of February 2024. It's currently December 28th, 2023, 8:24 p.m. Eastern Time. Netflix at the time of this reading is $490.51. That's USD. And the shuffle video for the Netflix February reading was created on December 5th, 2023 at 3:34 p.m. Eastern Time. That's this video here in the lower left corner. The overall theme of behavior for February, this is an extremely bullish theme combo, guys. A big move to the upside, reaching for a distant resistance on like a year-to-date kind of chart scale, and it's crossed with a big move higher. Sometimes that big move higher with the adjustment card, sometimes it'll start out of like an oversold territory. Sometimes it's like a big move to fill a previous gap down. Sometimes it's a gap up. But both of those combined together, we should see a significant amount of bullish behavior throughout the month of February. Behavior around the highest side for the month, we have a notable decline through multiple support levels off of the high, behavior around the lowest low, we have sideways rotation right along key support, rising to meet the nearest key resistance, and then falling back down and continuing to rotate sideways along that same support. So likely that we see the low twice. And before we go any further, I want to make sure everybody's aware the whole purpose of the channel is to transmute some of the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. Imagine if everybody that made money in the stock market devoted just a little portion of that every single time they made money, devoted that same little portion to helping the world. If everybody in the world did that, my God, what a better world it would be. So together as a team, we can do a little bit of that. We can do a part of it, you know. And so the way that we do that is I put out this information, the majority of it for free. You profiting from this information should be following through on the rule of karma. The universe expects you to do so. People that don't follow the rule of karma and profit from this information will not profit from this information for long. I promise you that. I've learned the hard way myself. All right, so remember, follow the rule of karma, and that is as follows. Go to the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders. Click on resources. And then 5% of all profit should be donated forward to one of the charities here, or if you have another charity that you would rather go to, a homeless guy on the street, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Just make sure that you're paying 5% of those profits forward every time, and then 5% of the profits should be donated back to the channel as a way to support the channel and say thank you. And really, I don't trade for the most part. There's just too much time to do this, to get this kind of information. Trading and doing this almost impossible to do together. It's like one or the other. And which would you do if you were the only person on the planet that could do this? Would you trade instead? Give me a break. So with that said, it's great when I see these payments come through because it really helps out the channel. It makes things exciting. It leaves you with 90%. Make sure to spend that 90% out of love. As long as you follow those rules, my friends, you're an angel investor of the channel. The universe is going to send it back to you tenfold for following through. Blessings to all my angel investors. When reading a one-month ESO meta-analysis reading, it's important to understand that going from left to right across the screen, we have the trading days, the dates of the trading days. And so not each card's energy is going to line up perfectly with one day of time. There are going to be cases, most of the readings, it'll be 100, timing will be right on point, like to the day. There will be cases where we have plus or minus 1 day of wiggle room, and it does happen. And in cases like that, it's important to make sure you follow the sequence of events as outlined by the prediction, because the sequence of events will remain the same even when we're plus or minus 1 day of wiggle room. If you see plus like 2 days of wiggle room, like I consider that, it happens occasionally, but I consider that a bad reading. They don't happen very often. So here on the first, we have a trade opportunity in the midst of some erratic behavior on a 1 day chart, but overall there's a decline that increases with momentum moving forward in time. And then the following day, we have more erratic behavior. We revisit a crest that was recently a past opportunity, and there's a failed attempt to break through key resistance there. Matter of fact, on the first, in the midst of that decline increasing with momentum moving forward in time, like out of that decline that increases with momentum, there's a big move. So we probably go into oversold territory. That yellow there correlates to the futility card. So we have this big move to the upside that'll stand out, and that takes us to a failed attempt on the second to break through key resistance, followed by a decline through key support. That failed attempt, that resistance, technicals will probably lead us to believe we're going to break through, and there's a disappointment there because instead we decline through support. And we've got that unicursal hexagram energy there as well, which we're seeing in a lot of the February readings. A little bit early in the Netflix reading compared to a lot of the other ones. But with that said, I'd want to be mindful of that. We'll talk about that as far as trading in more detail in the paid version. On the 5th, we have a trough midday. Looks like we kind of do some sideways behavior in the morning. And then midday out of a trough, we have a big move higher, followed by sideways rotation at a higher price level as we exit the 5th. Multiple failed attempts to break through key resistance on the 6th. A trough early in the morning, and then it looks like another trough on the cusp of the 6th, 7th. A lot of price change on the 7th from a trough. It looks like probably to the upside in the midst of a lot of volatility. There's a key resistance level that's highlighted around the 7th or 8th, where we attempt to establish support, and then we have might be 7th, 8th, 9th, somewhere in there. We have a lot of volatility, but a big move to the upside, a lot of price change into a resistance level around the 8th, 9th, where we attempt to establish support, and then in the midst of a big move to the upside around the beginning of the day on the 9th, there's opportunity. I'll talk about it in more detail in the paid version. We're probably declining in the morning on the 12th with a big move to the upside, even in the face of seemingly like ultra negative technical chart behavior, or maybe both, but it could be also like overwhelming headwinds. In either case, we have this big move to the upside on the 12th out of negative situation. On the 13th, another trade opportunity I'll talk about in more detail. It looks like a pretty mixed day. We have, looks like 2 troughs before midday, and then another trough at the end of the day, as well as a peak. On the 14th, another significant trough on like a 1 month chart scale in the midst of sideways rotation and a sharp drop that stands out in that period of sideways rotation. A peak towards the end of the day on the 14th that offers a notable trade opportunity. Again, I'll talk about it in more detail in the paid version. And there's a key resistance level, it looks like, highlighted somewhere between the peak on the 14th and more likely the peak on the 16th. But there's a key resistance level there on the 15th that's highlighted where we have like, we kind of like flatten out around that price level. Yeah, so it looks like we probably have two local highs. It's kind of difficult chart behavior to predict there on the 15th, but it looks like we have two local highs on a one-day chart there on the 15th. That means like two peaks on a chart, and then one local trough. So on a one-day chart, one trough really. But there's resistance. We probably have a notable move into that resistance, and it's resistance on a multi-day scale. It's highlighted, followed by a period of volatility on the 16th, in which that period of volatility ends with a fast sudden move higher, taking us into a prominent peak for the month as well, or a prominent peak on a 1 month scale as well. Before we go any further, let's take a look at December and see how we're doing thus far. Almost the very end of December, so we should be able to review almost the entirety of it. All right, so I have a low really early in the month. I have it for like the 4th. It looks like I was a little early. We came close on the 4th, almost hit it. It really ended up being on the 6th. We did have a really significant decline on the 6th, so that's pretty solid. Big move to a highest high thus far on the 11th. That's pretty solid. A trough on the 12th, a trough on the 13th, and a peak on the 13th. Big decline, universal energy on the 14th, another rally on the 15th, and then there's like this hop to the upside on the 18th, but that big decline, there's like a decline that actually here in the morning that offers opportunity to open up a long position before a big move to the upside. And then we have another highest high around the 27th, 28th. Looks like we were a little off on there. The highest high ended up being on the 19th. Oh, interesting, I missed that. It's there in the reading, I missed it. And then it gets kind of erratic here into the last week, which was really hard to read in a lot of these December readings, but I think we probably see a highest high tomorrow. Very likely, very likely. Pretty solid reading. A little bit off on the highest high. Well, that is unless we have a highest high tomorrow, and then it's pretty solid, right? So if you caught that decline in the morning on the 18th, you would have made a lot of money if you opened up that long position as instructed, and you're probably holding that long position. We have for the 22nd, you could have closed it on the 22nd in the morning. Pretty solid, or possibly hold it until the 27th, 28th. We'll see. But you would have made money following those readings. If you're interested in the paid version of the Netflix monthly, guys, people with a paid monthly subscription, I know them all by name. I mean, they're the most, they're like the core foundation of financial support for the channel. Without them, we wouldn't be able to put out the content that we do. So you better believe I know who you are, my friends. And what you get in the paid version is a bunch of information that you just don't get anywhere else until after the day has already passed. This is the only place in existence that you can get this information before the time frame, before the dates that we're talking about. And that's due to 20 years of development, roughly a 98% average accuracy. And the information that you get the best trades that we see, the timing of the best trades that we see, and what trades not to, to avoid, what to look for as far as one-day chart behavior, or like on a one-day chart, what type of chart behavior to look for as far as entry and exit into and out of those trades. And then you also get any trades that are relevant on a multi-month standpoint, on a multi-year standpoint. We see how the month fits into the big picture, utilizing cross-reading congruencies, and then any price level information that we're able to extrapolate, we'll talk about in the paid version as well. That and the overall performance in comparison to the S&P 500. You can get the paid version here on our website, Tarot for Traders. Hover over our services, click on SO Meta Post, scroll down to monthly subscription, click here to order. You're subscribing to Netflix. If you're interested in any of these other tickers or crypto, we do a monthly paid for those as well. But I would highly recommend getting the 30 days access to all paid, because just a little bit more than getting two, and you get access to all of the paid versions, plus Amazon, Google, and NVIDIA, which you can only get through this 1 month or this all paid version subscription. Most popular subscription on the channel, and for good reason. I mean, literally, you can't find this info anywhere else. We're predicting highs and lows to the date, like to the day in many cases. Not always. We're really, really close. And we're doing it like a month in advance. If you've got the paid version, probably a month and a half or 2 months in advance in some cases. So thank you to everybody that goes ahead and does that. You guys are awesome. Let's get back into it. So this prominent peak here on the 16th, it is possible that it's really here on the 20th. This fortune card indicates a significant reversal, and in a lot of cases, the fortune card also represents like a highest high. And I think that's probably what takes place. We have a highest high here on the 20th or the 21st, probably the 20th. We like a highest high thus far. We have a pop and drop with a notable decline on the 21st, and then like this big move on the 22nd, taking us to an even higher high. The 21st or the 20th is the highest high thus far, and then an even higher high on the 22nd. About midday, we successfully turned resistance into support on the 23rd, and there's a trade opportunity at a peak early in the day. A key resistance highlighted on the 26th it's a resistance level that we failed to break through many times before. And we also have another high somewhere around the 26th, 27th, 28th, or maybe more than one of those days, but around that resistance. On the 27th, an unexpected move to the upside, a trade opportunity at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day, and then a big move to the upside on the 28th, pushing the upper end of a multi-day range higher, a near overbought crest on the 29th that we sell off from through multiple support levels into a prominent trough at the end of the day. And the sneak preview for March, the end of a decline marked by a fast sudden move higher. As far as the highest highs and lowest lows, so I think we have a double lowest low, right? We've got a lowest low here around the 7th, 8th, and then we've got we revisit that low, it looks like around the 14th. Highest high thus far on the 8th, 9th. And it looks like back to those same highs around the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, where in the last week we might push that range higher. It is possible, it's hard to say, but like this will be the highest high thus far, same as the high from here, from the 8th, 9th over here. We'll see it again around the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, and then we'll have an even higher high somewhere in the last week between the 26th and the 28th. And that's Netflix for February 2024. Let me know what you think by liking this video, and please subscribe if you haven't done so and you like this content. It really helps out the channel. Most importantly, my friends, make sure to follow that rule of karma. You know where to go, you know what to do. Blessings to all my angel investors. I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay tuned if you got the paid version.